You've been a voice out in the wilderness, crying out.
Yep.
But hopefully we can, as I've said, bring some more attention to this now. To start off here, if I'm going to be doing this for a general audience, can you explain how programmatic advertising is supposed to work?
Yeah.
So just explain it so that someone whose only exposure to ads is being exasperated by having to click that tiny little X to make the
Sure.
auto-playing videos close. So,
So 20 years ago, when digital advertising really became more mainstream, the advertisers would be buying ads from publishers. So they would sit across the table from Hearst, Condé Nast, Meredith, Time Inc., and buy ads from them. And that was for their digital properties. Then we started to believe that there were a long tail of sites that humans do go to, right? So they would visit recipe sites, they would visit blogs that had specialized content, all that kind of stuff. And by long tail, we mean much, much smaller because the content was much more niche, right? So we went from all the way from the big, huge portals of 25 years ago, like Yahoo, where every form of information from stock quotes to news to sports scores were all aggregated in one place. Those are the giant portals. To then blogs like Engadget, Technorati, Gizmodo, and whatever. And then it just kept getting smaller and smaller, more and more niche, and longer tail. So then the advertiser said, well, we can't go talk to 10,000 different sites and negotiate deals with each of them, right? It's just not physically possible. That's what gave rise to ad exchanges that are basically like stock exchanges. So instead of you negotiating deals with each publisher, because there's just way, way too many of them, you would simply give the money to the ad exchange and you would say, oh, let's just bid on these ad impressions. And basically, just like Wall Street would match a stock buyer with a stock seller, the programmatic ad exchanges would match the ad seller, which is typically a website, to the ad buyer, which is typically the advertiser. And then you would basically bid on every single ad opportunity, right? Impression by impression. The problem that this created is that now, for the first time with programmatic exchanges, the bad guys can create tens of thousands of fake WordPress sites and add them into the exchange without anyone knowing, right? Because the ad buyer, the advertiser, is no longer sitting across the table from a sales rep from Hearst or Meredith or Condé Nast. They're just giving a big chunk of money to the exchange and said, go buy the ads for me. So for the very first time in history, programmatic exchanges allowed fraudsters, literally sitting in their own basement or whatever, to have a chance to sell ads to the biggest of advertisers because you've now dissociated the buyer from the seller. You've now introduced a middleman called the ad exchange. So that's what happened. And as far back as 2015, AppNexus, their name at the time, they're called Xandr right now. AppNexus at the time basically got publicity for themselves by saying they cleaned up 92% of their own inventory because they realized it was fraud. It was completely fake. 92%.
92%? That's a lot.
Brian O'Kelly is such a person that is so desperate for media attention that he put that out there. And in hindsight, probably shouldn't have put that out there because AppNexus basically admitted that 92% of the stuff that they sold to advertisers before was so obviously fraudulent that even they could see it themselves without any further, verification or whatever. Okay. So they purged 280 billion ad impressions per month down to 20 billion. That's where the 92% came from. Okay. They did that themselves. They admitted it. They got PR for it. And I'm quoting that. So this is why I've been saying programmatic has been 90+% fraud since the beginning. It's not like it just got to this point. It's been majority fraud since the beginning. Okay. And ad exchanges like AppNexus, the OG ad exchange, was what enabled that.